Welcome back to Meet the Team.
Welcome back to Meet the Team.
This is the opportunity that our agents have to be authentic and answer some questions, explain why they're in real estate, what they offer their clients, all that fun stuff. And today we have Maddox. Courtney, what do you want to?
Up to you, honestly.
I just want to clarify, most of my agents don't sit this close to me on the couch.
I know.
This is not normal.
I told her, she was like, do I need to separate you and your husband? Or like maybe you sit, or he sits over here and I sit there. And she's like, I don't know. Then I won't be able to cuddle with him. And I was like, okay, if you sit here, I'll sit there and I'll cuddle with Boo.
That's not very nice.
I mean, you're cuddly. I like cuddling with you. So.
Welcome. We're excited to get into this. I'm excited to hear some of these answers, especially towards the end.
Yes.
Because I think that those better be a certain kind of way or it's going to get really awkward in the Maddox home.
I did not get the questions beforehand.
That's intentional. We like to keep this thing impromptu. We don't like people to know what they're about to get into. It usually makes Jordan laugh a little bit more if people don't know exactly what they're getting into.
How can you be authentic if you've planned your responses?
That's exactly right.
They can be my authentic, answers. I just have to think about it.
It's okay. You're good at impromptu.
I'm not. You know I'm an impulsive person, so.
Impulsive?
No, I'm the opposite of impulsive.
Unimpulsive?
Oh, unimpulsive.
Yeah.
Okay. So you really thought
Strategic?
about marrying Boo. Mm-hmm. Did you think long enough? I'm just
that
kidding.
was one of
She
the.
had to be convinced. Her mom. I love her. Thank you. Shout out Jody. I took
Jody?
Jody.
How do you spell it?
Jodi.
That's my mom's name. Spelled
Cute.
that same way
You
too.
guys have the same
Aww.
one.
And we're the
Cute.
oldest.
Yeah, I took her on like a couple of dates. Was it Jody or Shiley?
Both.
Both of them were just looking at her because she wasn't feeling the love. She wasn't feeling it. I was back at a family reunion telling my family, hey, I'm marrying this girl.
Aww.
Well,
And Court is in there like, I don't see it.
You weren't really my type. I was kind of into toxic guys. And so I didn't know how to recognize a secure individual, a
A
secure
nice person, a good person.
Yeah, so I had to be convinced by my mom and my best friend, excuse me, why do we not? Why? I was like, you know what? That's a good point. You got a good point.
Turns out I'm just better at hiding my toxic levels.
Well, he is a good salesman.
The best.
Can't argue that.
Yeah, well, sometimes they're the most toxic.
Yes.
Okay.
We're all a little toxic.
Yeah, we're all a little toxic.
That's fine.
So the first thing is tell us your story. Where did it come from? Because I feel like I don't know this answer. So where did it come from? This is what I want to be when I grow up. To I'm going to be in real estate. You know. And
Hold on, let Jordan turn his Snapchat off. Freaking kid.
I don't even have Snapchat.
I know. That's his main source of communication. In order to get him to the office on time, I have to Snapchat him.
Hey, wait, what's your guys' streak?
Every day since he started joining the team.
Yeah. So because I don't know. Maybe you wanted to be a real estate agent your whole life, or I don't know if it was because of who you married that it just happenstance. Because we talked about this briefly last week-ish. But tell us how you got into real estate. What was that?
So
What
I was
that
a teacher.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, I got my degree in teaching home ec classes,
Family and consumer sciences.
Yeah, so I taught at
What?
Orem Junior High. I taught sewing, interior design. That
is so
and
different.
I also worked at a bridal shop as a bridal consultant, selling wedding dresses, and then I would alter them too. So I'm a seamstress.
So you were selling what was likely one of the most important outfits in a woman's life.
Absolutely.
And now you're selling some of the most important decisions and assets in a person's life.
Yeah.
Dang.
There's actually a direct correlation, but I had no idea at the time. If you would have told me I would become a real estate agent, I would have been like, what? I don't see it. So, yeah, I had no idea. I had no plans to do it. And as you know, most of my in-laws are in real estate. And my husband absolutely killed it at real estate. And I actually, at one point, he had so many buyers in his pipeline that he couldn't manage it.
168.
Yeah, and he was...
I'm going to throw up. Was it that donut or?
falling apart at the seams as far as managing the pipeline.
Actually, hold on. I need a pause. How many kids did you have at the time too? Because you have 4 now.
It was right before Crew was born, or right at the same time. Yeah, 2020. So right about when we got pregnant with Crew.
Yeah. So it would have been after we had him that we had the conversation. He's like, I need someone to help me. And I was like, yeah, you do. Like, it needs to be someone organized, someone who can get shit done.
He's like, I'm looking at her.
And he's like, well, why don't you do it? I was like, yeah.
So she came in, and within 2 weeks, I remember she stuck her head up one time and she had the biggest smile on her face. She was putting together all of my CRM because this is probably terrible to put on tape. I never used a CRM. I was not an advocate of a CRM. I didn't believe in it. Like, especially at that point too, like you really didn't need it in 2020 because it was like you were deciding, are you a client that's going to submit an offer or are you not going to submit an offer? And that was there was no nurturing of leads. There was no, just because there was so many buyers and so little inventory. And so I asked her to come in like, hey, help me build out my CRM, help me build out my processes because I need to manage people. That's the other thing is the reason it was 168 people at its biggest is because people are under contract for 8 and 9 months.
Yeah.
And so I needed a CRM. I realized that my time there was so much that I had to be managing that was under contract that I couldn't be focusing on the sales side of it. So I needed a system built so that I could focus less on that and focus more on selling. And to me, it was the most daunting bullshit minutia that I have. I think people that are really good at selling hate the management side of it. And so within like 2 weeks, I looked over there and I'm like, how you doing? And she looked up and she had the biggest smile on her face. She's like, I just love this. And I'm like, you're a freak. You're shut up.
And at that point too, Al, your little brother, was your assistant.
Yeah.
And I remember we were all sitting in the office and I was doing all this like paperwork follow-up type stuff. And I was like, I love this. And both of you looked at me like,
we hate you. Yeah. Because that was the hard part for both of us.
And now Al is my rep for Edge Homes.
Yeah.
He's who I go to.
So me and Al both kind of glowed up since then.
Yeah. I have too.
You know.
I'm the same.
So I was kind of like the mini, like the discount, great value John Perry for you. They like tried to build out your systems and got it like running and your pipeline was running itself. It was, everyone knew what they needed to know.
And so then at that point, like Al left. Al went to go sell for Edge. I finally called Edge and I was like, you guys got to take this kid on because he is better than half of the sales team that you currently have staffed. And at that point, Court was like, okay, I'm going to get licensed and I'm going to go become your full-time assistant. And I just looked at her. I was like, dude, you are better than, kind of the same conversation I had with Edge. You're better than almost everybody out there. I know a lot of the real estate agents out there. Mm-hmm. You could be really, really good at this. So I would love to hear, at what point did you decide to go like, okay, I'm going to go be an agent full time?
Yeah. Why real estate?
Yeah. Like, and what kind of made that decision for you?
So I had started my real estate school and I think you have like a year.
It's changed. So back then you had a year to complete it and then complete it, and then you had like 6 months to take your test.
Or something.
Now you have 6 months to complete real estate school because
they realized most of us were sitting on it.
Because then the fail rate was just too high because you had so long to start it and you finished it and then you were waiting a year and yeah. So anyways.
And they're real estate agents. They're definitely waiting 11 months.
We don't do our CE until the week before, right?
We definitely cram for the test. So, no. So I was just getting my license just to get my license. I don't know, to be your assistant, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I realized I was up against that deadline, that 12-month deadline, that I was going to lose all this school if I didn't take the test. And I was like, am I allowed to say shit on here?
Yeah.
Shit. I don't want to lose that. So I went and took the test and...
Did you pass it the first time?
I did not pass it the first time.
Which one? Because here in Utah it's different. There's the state and then there's federal. Some states it's just one complete test, like California, and I think Florida is also the same. It's just one complete test.
Ours is the two, and
we have state and
I
federal.
did just fine on the first one. It was the state one that I struggled with. I don't know. We can get into that another day. But anyways, took it again, passed, and Boo's like, why don't you just be a real estate agent yourself? And I was like, hadn't thought of it. And, I sat on it for a minute. I went and interviewed with a couple different brokers, and I was like really excited about it. So felt right. Did it. I didn't even pray or fast about it. I just went in.
How?
All in.
So, but you were also a teacher at a junior high school. Like, how did that ending go?
So that was kind of a lifetime ago. I was a teacher before I was a mom. And once I started having kids, I was like, I don't want to do both right now. So I had not been a teacher for a few years at that point. And I was kind of a stay-at-home mom. And then I was working with him. And then we started and stopped a business in between there. And I was just kind of like, what am I going to do now? Like, I don't want to be full-time stay-at-home mom. I need something to, accomplish and do outside of my kids. Otherwise, I force them to accomplish things. So yeah, I was super
Highly
excited.
encourage, not force. Highly encourage. I'm just kidding.
I was pretty forced. I would definitely force them.
You both are the oldest, so you both are aware of how to raise children at young ages.
Yes. Yeah.
So what is your value proposition for your clients or your business?
You've been a full-time agent for how long now? 18 months
Probably,
officially?
yeah.
You've closed how many transactions?
Gosh.
You've only been an agent for 18 months?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I know I'm biased, so take this with a grain of salt. She's really, really good at this.
This is why I love this podcast, is because I'm learning so much. I feel like we've become pretty good friends.
Yeah.
And I've learned. So I don't know. Okay. It's 18 months. Continue.
What was the question?
How many transactions? 12
I don't
or so?
know. If you would have sent me this before, I would have counted them up. Probably 12, maybe.
But last month you closed just under 4 million, which is insane.
Yeah, sometimes they just stack up into 1 month, and I had 4 closings in 1 month. That was great.
It was really fun to celebrate her last month, though. I will say this.
Yeah.
I looked at her, I was like, this is the first time in our relationship where you made more in a month than me. And it wasn't even close. She absolutely crushed it. I think she's carving out a really cool niche with a lot of the seller finance stuff. You're doing some really cool things.
Yeah. So what is your value prop? Because you know a lot about the financing.
My value proposition would be that I have a toxic trait where if I want something, and there's a wall between me and the thing, I'll go through it, around it, over it, under it, destroy it, whatever. I won't stop until I get that thing. And so
Dora the Explorer.
I am Dora the Explorer. Yeah. Backpack. Yeah. So, if you are my client that has hired me to make something happen for you, I won't stop till I make it happen, which is great that I'm in real estate and not just a stay-at-home mom, because that intensity gets channeled towards my kids, and that's not super healthy. So that's my value proposition, and I think that's how I ended up getting into the seller financing niche, is because I just closed a $2.5 million one in Lehigh, and it was seller financing. And the way that I found that home for them was just calling listing after listing after listing. Would they seller finance? Talking through the listing agent, what would it look like? Basically selling them on seller financing. Mm-hmm. And that's what this one was. It wasn't listed with seller financing, but we ended up negotiating that deal and putting it together for these clients who had a unique situation. And it was great. So just that I won't stop till I figure out how to get what my clients need.
Well, you also, I think it was your first video on our YouTube channel, you talked about seller financing, and from the sounds of it, an agent reached out to you about what that opportunity was. Uh-huh. So tell us a little bit, now other agents are looking to, not even on the team, what is it, You're kind of a voice for it now.
Yeah, I think, seller financing is a whole beast, and once you understand it, there's a huge learning curve to figuring it out. And once you understand how it works, and I've had probably hundreds of conversations about it at this point, I feel like I'm better at maybe explaining it to people or helping them understand the benefits for their seller versus the buyer, and meeting in the middle, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, because you had probably more of a front row seat into what real estate looked like because of the family, because of we do a terrible job of separating family and business, right? It's all kind of one convoluted mess at times. So I would love to hear what has been the most unexpected thing that you've gone through in the last 18 months? Not like, but maybe like what you were feeling through it. Like what was the most surprising, and then what has been the most fun that you weren't expecting getting into it?
Okay.
It always goes back to fun for me.
It does. Yeah. And then I have to really think about it because fun doesn't.
It's not the same version.
I would say my version, fun for you is the equivalent of challenge for me. And so challenge is more satisfying to me than fun. I don't care if I'm having fun. I'm having fun if I'm challenged. So I think the most surprising thing for me is that I had a front row seat to new construction, specifically Edge Homes. And Edge Homes does a really good job of being very smooth, having a very clean process. And there's only so many branches to the timeline of buying the home and closing on the home. And so I think what was most surprising to me is that how many niches and specialties and how huge the world of resale is. And you can be an agent for 10 years and still get a new client that has totally different needs, and you have to relearn how to do that transaction.
It's like the ultimate choose your own adventure story, which is why like I've always been very vocal since opening this office. I say always for the last 9 months. I am not. How many times have I came to you and said, Jake, this is going to be the way that you prospect? Not once.
No.
And it's very intentional because I think there are a million different ways to run your business. I'm not the person to tell you exactly how to do it, but I do expect you to go out and find it, right?
Yeah. And I think along with that, that's been the most fun for me is like connecting with a new client and they have needs that I haven't learned about yet. And so I'm like, okay, here I go. And I dive in, I research, I ask around, I look into it and learn how to best meet that client's needs. And that's a fun challenge for me. It's like, I feel like I have to rebrand like what kind of like agent I am based on the transaction and kind of gathering all of this knowledge and experience and throwing them in my tool belt, you know?
I think I do a terrible job of showing people the difficult side of real estate. Like, I don't think I would come home and tell you this fell apart, this fell apart, this fell apart. Like, I would only celebrate the wins oftentimes. That's kind of just who I am as a person. What would you say has been more difficult than you anticipated getting into it?
I mean, the emotional roller coaster of, I think it's, I feel like you're a naturally optimistic and confident person. And like, yeah, you feel things and like things definitely get to you, but the emotion usually like comes and goes pretty quick and you're back to like optimism. And I definitely sit in those negative emotions a lot longer than you and take things personally. And so the feeling of like you meet a new client and they ghost you, like that sits with me. I'm like, they hate me. Like I suck as a person. I should quit. Like that emotional roller coaster. Or, yeah, like you submit an offer and then it doesn't get accepted and the sellers won't budge and just like, like it's hard. There's a lot of hard parts to this that I didn't realize how emotionally taxing it could be because you didn't really show it as much as I feel it.
You're welcome.
You got played. You were tricked.
Tricked you.
Tricked you into marrying him. Tricked you into doing real estate.
Yeah, you know. Now that I got you here, let's talk about that.
Ooh, Boo's in the hot seat again.
Yeah.
So, what is when you are prospecting and stuff, what would you say is your like focus, your demographic, geographical? What have you figured that out since you've been in real estate in 18 months? You feel like?
I feel like I gravitate towards the more difficult situations, like client situations, which for better or for worse. But I think that I kind of come in. I don't feel like I ever do easy deals. I mean, maybe there isn't any easy deals, but I feel like I'm the one that like friends will refer me to their friends when they have a weird situation or they need something really specific or.
You're just a problem solver.
Problem solver, yeah, maybe.
I think that's where the organizational skill set takes over.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be detailed and thorough in order to get those types of deals across the finish line. I am not that. I would rather go lead gen and try to find an easier deal to do. That's just my approach to it. but I think it's the thoroughness that you operate at.
Is there like a focus that you're gonna try to gear towards, you think? Because I had no idea you've only been doing this for 18 months. This is wild. I can't get over that.
That makes me feel good. Thank you, Jake. I honestly don't know what my niche is right now. I feel like right now I'm still trying to learn that.
Yeah.
And figure out what I enjoy and what I'm good at. I definitely, though, like being born and raised in Utah County, I definitely feel a draw here. When I was initially interviewing with brokers, I interviewed with some Salt Lake County ones.
Including the Perry Group.
Including the Perry Group, yeah. And then I interviewed with Utah County ones, and that's why I ended up with Berkshire, because it was smack in the middle of American Fork. I'm from Linden, and I just feel like this is my stomping grounds. This is my place. This is like, I'm passionate about Utah County because I just love it here, and I know it. I've driven these roads with my friends, with like my kids, so I'm passionate about Utah County, and I know I know it and I love it, and that's my specialty for sure.
I'm glad you said that, because there's a lot of, like, I started my career in Salt Lake County, and there's a lot of people that are like, ugh, once you pass that little bend around the hill between Lehigh and Draper, it's over.
Ugh.
Your life is over. And so there is such a distinct difference. For me, I come from California, so I love just this whole valley of Utah. But it's wild to me. Like, even the East Coast, or not East Coast, the east side of the 15 to the west side, like, there's a cultural difference of rivalry going. There's a rivalry between Salt Lake County, Utah County, and your love for Utah County is for sure going to show. But why the Perry Group now? You said that you joined.
Be very careful with this answer.
Will you actually leave for this part so I can speak freely? Just kidding.
Here's this interesting fact, guys, is that you started at Berkshire Hathaway, and you started the Utah County Perry Group with the Perrys and everyone else in Salt Lake Sugar House, and you didn't come over right away. Like, you came over after me, like 7 months later. What was why the Perry Group? It's fine.
So why the Perry Group?
So I was at Berkshire Hathaway. I really liked the independence there. I liked having basically no accountability because I'm pretty good at keeping myself accountable. I just felt like I was raw dogging it for a year. Like, I had really good brokers who I could pop in and pick their brain at any time with 30 years of experience, and I loved that. And I liked doing my own thing. I think I needed to not do anything in your shadow. Not that that's a bad thing, but I felt like everything I had done was with you. And so doing something totally on my own, I feel like I needed to, like, spread my wings, you know? Hatch from my chrysalis, if you will. So it just didn't feel right. So he opened up this office, and I was, like, super pumped for him.
Nothing but supportive.
Super supportive, and I just didn't feel like it was time to move over. I still felt like I had more to learn over there, and so I stayed. And then at some point, I started to feel differently and feel like, you know what, it might be time for me to jump over.
I'm curious what those things were.
Was it a challenge? Because it wasn't the fun. I'm just kidding.
I think part of it was the team was more established. If she had joined when there was 5 of us, it would be 4 agents and Boo's wife, right?
Yeah.
So like when you joined, I think we had 20 to 25 agents. So you could kind of come in and be a part of the team.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it.
Totally. Another part of it was I felt like That's loud. Sorry. I felt like I had been. I felt like I was just spending so much time trying to get leads, and there was one point where I had a couple fall out of contract, and then I just was like exhausted from trying to drum up my own leads, and that was a huge part for me, where the Perry Group has a lot of leads that would supplement and make it worth. Ultimately, I'm like, hey, I'm away from my kids. I'm paying someone to watch my kids. It needs to make sense. And at that point, like I had a little bit of a lull, and I was like, this doesn't make sense right now. Like this is exhausting. So that was a huge one for me. And then I felt like there was things that I needed in my business that I was either going to have to start paying for, like transaction coordinator, content creator, that type of stuff. I was like, I can either start paying for that, or, I mean, the Perry Group had all of it. And so it felt like the right switch for my business and for me personally, what I needed. But it felt like the right time. I don't regret staying where I was, because I think it was great for me to be there.
One thing that I was thinking about from what we talked about last week is like, so many people that are single and real estate agents, you're like, I don't want to date another agent. You guys were married and then became agents together, but you also had, now I'm recognizing, like, you had some separation to find your own identities, and now you've joined forces to a degree, you know? So that totally makes sense why it took time, and it makes sense why you've joined the Perry Group, because if you're on your own, you have to take the time to interview transaction coordinators. You have to take the time to then find the people that are going to, like, you're going to become a manager of all these people, like the content creators and all those things. And so when you're joining a team that has those resources dialed down, it was literally what the motto is on that thing of where talent meets opportunities.
Yeah, I like that.
I think too, selfishly, it was really helpful for me to be able to come in here and try new things and not worry about how it was impacting my wife.
Yeah.
Like I'll be honest, I was a little bit frustrated. I think we talked through that a couple of different times, where I was like, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. But I do think it was like super healthy for me to be able to come in, try some new things, try social media, try some stuff that isn't being done anywhere else, and not have to stress about how it's impacting my family.
Yeah.
So I think her timing was fantastic, and I think it's been really good.
I like to pick apart things and decide, and like,
Oh, okay. Here we go.
I like to pick out things that are going wrong, because I'm a problem solver. So by finding out what's going wrong, then I can fix it.
Now's the moment where she's like, Jake is the wrong. Just kidding.
Optimism boy here just likes to look at everything that's working.
But I think that's also that's also a benefit to me not joining right from the beginning, because I think you needed your space to explore, try new things, and not have me be like, well, this is actually not working, and this is like, there's a time and a place for that, and I think it was good for you to have your space to do that. And then now that things are a little more established, I'm here, and I still have like thoughts and suggestions, but
we had to put a suggestion box in our kitchen. She can just, she
can
can leave them there. Oh yeah, they fill it up. We get home every day and have like 30 minutes just of reading their suggestions.
yeah, it's a little passive aggressive, but
I suggest we extend bedtime.
yeah.
So why do you choose Utah? You've been here your whole life. Utah County, you love it, but why do you choose to stay here, you think?
I mean, we have a lot of family here, I would say, and we have established our businesses here. That's probably a big part of it.
What would you say is your favorite part of Utah?
I really like the seasons, because they keep you...
Sometimes you get all 4 in one day.
Right. They keep you on your toes. And by the time that February hits, you're so over the winter that you're so excited for spring and summer. And then you get a few months of summer and you love it, and then you're like, I'm over this. It's too hot. I hate it.
Then you get that Starbucks notifications that the PSL is back, and you're all in.
So I feel like it keeps you excited for every season as it comes, because you're so over the last one. I don't know. Keeps you guessing. Keeps you excited.
I love that.
Jake's takes?
Yeah. Real quick. What are your hobbies or goals?
I don't have hobbies. Real estate's my hobby. Just kidding.
That's what everyone says. That's me.
Yeah.
So we don't have any boundaries as real estate agents. Hobbies, I love it when we go ride the razor up the canyon. I love doing outdoor stuff like that with the kids. I love hanging out with the kids too.
Another thing that Utah offers. Okay, Jake's takes.
Jake's takes.
So
Jake's
you know,
takes.
you're aware of these. We do them in the office this week. I need to change it up. It's the last day of what's out there by our food. Okay, these are love it or hate it kind of things. And I already, gosh.
You already have an idea of what I'm
I
going to
already
say.
A lot
feel
of
like I
pressure
know all
on
these
this.
answers. Boo, I feel like I'm curious. I want you guys to answer these at the same time what you think she's going to answer.
Ooh.
Like a 1, 2, 3, okay? So country
You want me
music.
to answer first?
No, I want it same thing. I want
'Kay.
it at the same time. I'm gonna go 1, 2,
'Kay.
3, and you both of you answer. Okay? So love it or hate it. Country music. 1, 2, 3.
Love it.
Okay. Tesla Cybertruck. 1, 2, 3.
Hate it.
Oh,
Okay.
I was nervous on that one.
Pineapple on pizza. 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely hate it.
Okay. All right. Now these are like which one? Okay. So the Olympics. Winter or summer? 1, 2, 3.
Summer?
Okay.
Question mark? We spend
Oh
too
my
much time
gosh.
together.
Yeah, we hang out a little bit too much. Oh,
How many
I need
years?
friends.
How many years? Okay, Starbucks or Dutch Bros? 1, 2, 3.
Starbucks.
Okay. Disneyland or Disney World? 1, 2, 3.
Disney
Disney World. I was gonna say land. I'm not gonna lie. I slowed up a little bit. I was gonna say Disneyland, and I was like, no. She literally last night just told me she wants to take me to Harry Potter World. So
Yeah.
Which they have in Hollywood too, but it is better in Orlando. Okay.
I cheated on that one. I'm not gonna lie.
At least you're
East
honest.
Coast or West Coast? 1, 2, 3.
East
West
Coast?
Coast. Ah,
I don't know the answer to that one either.
Okay. Well, you know Disney World's on the East Coast, so this kind of makes
East
sense.
Coast.
Fire or water? 1, 2, 3.
Water?
Fire.
I don't. Wait. Will you explain the question more? Like,
can we go back to love it or hate it, please?
like personality wise, am I fire or water?
No, like
Okay.
what would you rather watch fire or running water kind of thing?
Okay. Do it again.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Fire.
Thank
We
you.
say the same thing.
Yes.
Morning person or night owl? 1, 2, 3.
Night owl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hesitation. Peppermint or pumpkin spice? 1, 2, 3.
Pumpkin
Peppermint.
spice.
Oh.
I laugh like it's obvious.
Okay, that was fair. All right, chocolate or vanilla? And this is like flavor. Can be ice cream, can be anything. What would you gravitate towards if you had the option between a chocolate thing or a vanilla thing?
If you don't get this right, you're in trouble. Because
One.
this is like a large part of my personality.
1, 2. I'm so nervous for you. 1, 2, 3.
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Nuh-uh. You're joking.
I'm joking.
Oh, like you
It
have
was a
to know
joke.
that. Our 3-year-old says that.
That's what our 3-year-old says whenever he does something kind of borderline shitty. It was a joke.
He'll say something so mean and he'll be like, "It was a joke."
Can't you take a joke?
No, that's literally. So whenever we say something kind of mean to each other, that's what we say to soften it.
Yeah, if you didn't
All
know the
right.
chocolate one,
I knew the chocolate.
yeah, I thought you did.
This is real estate related, all right? Single level or 2-story? Remember, you have to answer how you think she would answer. 1, 2, 3.
2-story?
Single. You love.
Master on the main. That's
That's
all
what I
that
said.
matters.
That's
he
literally
said in
what I
his-
said.
His video. Okay.
But if you couldn't have master on the main, which one would you pick?
2-story, I think you get a smaller footprint, bigger yard.
Okay, that's fair.
That's a really good point.
Thank
Good
you.
insight. She's a real estate agent, guys. New construction or resale?
Wait, to sell or to buy? If I were buying.
Just which one do you gravitate towards more?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
New construction.
Okay.
I feel like I forced that one out of me.
I just didn't know I didn't know how to say the word, I guess.
All right. Flip or hold? 1, 2, 3.
Hold.
Depends on if I'm the listing agent. Just kidding. That's shitty. I think holding real estate is great.
I mean, you guys have real estate.
Yeah. Court manages all of them.
She does everything.
For now.
nice.
Freaking hate it.
All right. Mountain views or lake views? 1, 2, 3.
Mountain. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, these are the final questions that we're asking everybody on the podcast. The first one is, tell us the worst experience or event that you've been through using 3 words or 3 small phrases. Mine is Thanksgiving, junior high, gravy. Booze is pre-mission, grandpa, family drama.
Oh, yeah.
What would you
Oh,
guys
this
think?
is heavy. In 3 words.
Or small phrases.
Or small phrases. It's so heavy. Dad, cancer, dying. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to drop a bomb, but that's probably the worst part.
No follow-up questions.
That just told the whole story.
There you go. I don't know what else to say.
I don't even feel like I can move on to our last question.
All right, that we will no longer be doing Jake's takes.
Guys, we have had our 4-episode run. Thank you for. Okay, this might end a marriage. How would you open up this banana?
Oh. I'm going to stick these acrylic nails right here.
Yes. Okay.
I knew I loved you.
I'm glad that did it for you.
Yeah, that's it. Tony was very confused. He's like, "What? You either like open the top or cut it in half?" And we're like, "Oh my gosh, we're about to change your world."
Poor Tony.
I know. I feel
Poor
like
Tony.
we need a budget to where we just have a banana
Hey, John, can we get the budget for 4 bananas a year? I mean, a month.
a month.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly, I think that would be like open this banana for me.
Yeah.
Just watch him do it.
But okay, then
He's in
maybe
here.
we
We'll go
need
bug
2
him.
bananas. So bump it up to 8 because they might open it wrong. We have to show them the right way.
That's true. Okay.
Okay.
2 bushels of bananas, John.
We'll
Put
think
it down.
about it. Okay. Thanks for joining us, Court.
Thanks, Jake.
We love you.
Appreciate you. Well, I love you too, just not in a romantic way.
In a different way. It's the same but
Do you
different.
have Boo in a romantic way?
At times.
I mean,
Depends on the day. I'm the same way.
It's almost 4 months. I feel like I can get there.
It's a pretty. I can learn.
That's how long it took me, I think.
I can change him, I swear. Just kidding.
You said I love you first. What are you talking about?
I think it was like 4 months, though.
Ooh,
You said it first.
I did
Hot
say it
take.
first.
Thank you.